Thank you all for watching this video of That Old Panda. I'm Panda. If you like what you see here and are enjoying kind of the content that's being made, make sure you like and subscribe. Now let's get to the video. Well, the holidays are upon us. And I know I've been MIA for a little bit, and apologies there due to work and for family stuff. But we're going to cover the Polar Express out in 2004. That was released around the same time as the movie for the PC version. And we're going to take a look at this one as well as the same port that's been gone across with the PlayStation 2. But there's also another one for the Game Boy Advanced, but that one is a little different, in some ways better, in some ways worse. So we're going to take a look at this one though and see the very idea of playing a video game on the Polar Express, going up to the North Pole, and see if this game holds up to the movie and whether you should experience it over the movie. Chances are you probably not want to. Luckily, installing this on the computer was a breeze with a nice golden ticket in order to actually go into the Polar Express. Luckily, the game itself opens up very similar to the movie itself. You are the little boy that is, of course, Tom Hanks, because in this world, Tom Hanks is everywhere. And he talks about the wonders and beautifulness of Christmas and how it is that you wake up in the middle of the night waiting for Santa Claus. You better shut your eyes quick, as there's a train coming about called the Polar Express, instead of that old Saint Nick giving you presents down your chimney. And as it opens up, it does show the little wee lad going to the Polar Express, meeting another Tom Hanks lookalike, because everybody of course is Tom Hanks. And as it opens up, it shows the Polar Express book, showcasing the actual bell that's there in the top. However, that is probably the most you're ever going to see in this particular game mention or even talk about the bell. I'll get to that later. The game itself opens up to a number of different chapters, and all of them have different parts of the movie to play through. Yet, I tell you, the movie and the game are very, very different. As you proceed through the movie, or the game that matter, you'll have some of the cutscenes that are referenced straight from the movie itself.
Actually, it's a Baldwin 284 S3 class Berkshire type steam locomotive, built in 1931 at the Baldwin Locomotive.
And as it continues to go through, you find out there is a ploy from the old Muppet Scrooge that makes a brief appearance into the actual movie itself. But his overall plan is to steal everybody's golden ticket in order to kick them off the train, because that is what has always been threatened in the movie, let alone the game. However, we never do see that, as it's usually a child's imagination. Most of the chapters are you progressing through the train itself, opening up jackboxes, collecting coins, and also helping those other children that lost their tickets and need your help to assist them.
I'm afraid to go in there.
All in a very scary, kind of interesting manner, as most of this gives you the ability to explore the rest of the Polar Express chain, and in order to unfold the plot of the old Scrooge puppeteer. You do typical things of winding up jackboxes, opening them up, and kicking balls back at the old Scrooge that pop up in the same corners of the actual car. And after you do that a few times, he then relinquishes his ploy as you continue to move forward. You find more children that need more help because they keep dropping and losing their tickets to the old Scrooge, where you ultimately end up fighting Mr. Scrooge just in the same part of the compartment as the Scorpion in Resident Evil Zero, throwing snowballs at his very metal heart. But after you do that about 5 different times, you then vanquish Mr. Scrooge, foiling his... The fun part of the game is that it does have a few sessions that actually explore some of the fun ideas and thoughts of the movie. And that is to run through, traverse towards the top of the train to help save the wee lass that lost her ticket, while the conductor goes to take her to the front and probably kick her off the train as she can no longer be here without her ticket. You, of course, as the boy, just like the movie unfolds, continue to go through all the harsh challenges of the North Pole and all of the weather that comes with it, missing out from getting hurt and destroyed and knocked off the actual train itself, where you ultimately run into the ghost of the top of the train. And in doing so, the ghost of the train talks about how he doesn't need no ticket. He just lives on top of the train. And then, as we all know, watching the movie of the Polar Express, which is also voiced and looks like Tom Hanks, because everybody's Tom Hanks in this world, talks about how you need to get to the front before you get to the horrible tunnel that only has about 2 inches of clearance with the train itself. However, it takes a slight detour, because they need to change the plot. That was the worst part of the whole thing. In fact, it actually was the greatest part of the whole thing. You wouldn't even guess what they do to change this part of the story. Well, it turns out you have to go off the train, down the hill, in order to beat the train on skis, which makes it a very interesting and questionable choice of the plot of the movie. However, at the same time, it is pretty fun as you get to ski down a hill with this ghost of Christmas whatever, as you try to make sure that you get ahead of the train in order to get on top of the train by ensuring that you actually meet the front to jump off as the ghost disappears, which they don't even show anymore.
What's happening? Shouldn't you do something?
So then it continues to the next part of the story that we all are looking forward to, and that's being stopped by the caribou in order to get past the lake of ice, and hopefully you get to control the train from going left, right, in order to stay on the tracks and get past the lake. But no, sir, no, we need to make a change there too, by not having it at all in the game. I can't. So in order for you to actually pick up steam in the train, because we're going to negate that whole caribou crossing altogether, but we have to get parts, and then once we get those parts, we must do the unthinkable, the sacrifice that you must be willing to make, and that is dance, 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 dance. In order to get the steam rolling, we gotta dance and do all the positions, but not actually put the coal in order to get the steam. And it's a very delayed dance, mind you. However, once you proceed past this and get to the next part, now we must proceed to one of the most iconic parts of the Polar Express. Hot. Oh, we got it. It's hot chocolate. How do we do this? Well, apparently in this particular version of the movie, the waitstaff has somebody call in sick, so they need to elicit child labor in order to perform dances to provide the hot chocolate and the cookies and the sweets to everyone in the cabinet. And you have to make sure you meet those dance moves accordingly, because if you don't, you're going to spill the hot chocolate and you're going to throw all of those sweets to the ground. Again, one of the worst parts of a glorifying portion of the actual gameplay. Of course, at the time, maybe that was probably not a bad idea for gameplay. Otherwise, I mean, you could probably just do a simulator of hot chocolate and creating things together, but just make it right. Make it good. I just don't get why they did that. But I digress. Let's move forward. So, as we reach the North Pole, and everybody remembers the story of the one child he's not sure if he wants to see Santa Claus.
What are we going to do?
Someone hits the release accidentally, and part of the train, one of the little cabs there, starts going backwards. And this actually is quite an enjoyable part of the game. You get to lean and move the cab as it's going down the streets where Sonic Adventure 2 happens, but of the snowy time of our year, with the biggest jumps ever that Speed would be jealous of. Look at that. It's so good. In order to make it, you have to make sure you get around all the plot holes, or the potholes, rather, that were not actually fixed from all of the elves in the world of the North Pole. And then you make sure that you transport accordingly in order to get to the last part of the whole sequence of presents. This, like I said, one of the more enjoyable sequences. And as you proceed towards the end, the last final jump, making the most amount of error ever. Where you proceed to the final portion showing the video of the station where all the last of the elves are leaving and packing up all of the actual presents as you go through the tunnels of the speed machine that is made from the elves of their tube system. This is also surprisingly a fun, a little enjoyable section, as you have to ensure that you swirl everything around. If you do get motion sick, I apologize, and meet the proper switches through the actual colors that are displayed and everybody working together, while collecting just coins that were left behind as you proceed to try to get to the last part of the North Pole to meet Santa Claus, as well as to get the presents that everybody is promised for Christmas Day. Then realize that you are in the big box or big package of boxes and presents and toys, where it becomes kind of a horror film, where you need to be able to get out and ensure that you live another day in this massive void of presents and terrible things out to kill you, as you collect more coins, ensuring that you don't get smushed by all the different presents throughout the whole thing. By the time you get out of the big sack of presents, you then would think, alright, we're there! We're almost done! I remember the movie. All they're gonna do is just set that thing down and then we're gonna meet Santa Claus, right? No, you are sorely mistaken. You forgot the one big element that they included in the video game, and that is the incompetence of the elves have finally risen up. They have a Zeppelin on the way that's carrying everything, yet they need help to fly it because the captain is incompetent to do so. So guess who they elicit the help from? Help from the stowaway children in the big package or pouch of presents that they just happen to catch and just happen to come in and sweep the day. As it shows the amount of incompetence of every elf, this really kind of glorifies what type of operation that they're doing up there as you move the Zeppelin around with the big pouch of toys, and you need to make sure you don't wreck it because holy cow, you're not gonna make it. As you can see here, it can be quite difficult, especially if you hit the hitbox at the top, so that you can't go further than above the actual bridges, as you see here. This actually is quite an enjoyable experience, despite the fallacy of the plot points and what we're doing here in the first place. But as you can see, it gets a little challenging towards the end as you get a little bit of airway. However, the difficulty is not all that terrible, despite having a time trial at the top left.
Gotta be more.
Well done, young man. I salute you.
Thanks, but we're not quite there yet.
Don't you worry. I'll take it from here. The disaster has been averted.
Thank you.
You should go enjoy your friends now. We're almost there.
Hey, welcome back.
So, nothing could be terrible to this story, right? We made it to the end. We're up at the North Pole, and all the children are there to meet Santa as well as the elves. Nothing could destroy this. All they had to do was follow the plot point exactly in order to ensure that everybody is happy Christmas night in the 5 minutes that ended up being an eternity, right? Oh, nay. It's gonna get bad. And here's how. As we proceed and the children get out of the sack, and they meet up with the rest of their kin. We then proceed like we do in the movie, where they meet Santa to get the first present with the bell itself, correct? And this is not edited, by the way. Hi, Santa. Bye, Santa. I kid you not. You literally see Santa going away. The bell is not part of anything here. The tickets do not show the point of believing in yourself, leading, or any sort of lesson that the kids were taught, other than the fact, thanks for coming on the ride. Say hello to Santa in the distance. Just come back next year. We'll have more hot chocolate and cookies for you. And that's it. That's the entire thing. Bye. That's it. The whole point, in order to go to the North Pole to meet Santa, is not existent. There's no reason to play this game, as we took the very reason of why you watch the movie out of the game itself. You might as well go to the Ardent Mall or go to any mall and see a mall Santa Claus and say hello. You'll get more attention from that than you will at the Santa Claus in this version of the movie. So, if you're interested in playing some of these great, wonderful segments of this, awesome! But if you want to actually see Santa, or see some lore expanded upon the North Pole, the Polar Express, and Santa Claus, do not play this game. I can't make this up. I can't. It's non-existent. Of course, technically, if you look on the internet, this game was not very favorable due to a number of shortcuts that were made, and also some folks would call very cheesy and very minimal gameplay. The gameplay actually isn't the worst, but instead of taking the best parts of the game or the movie and making them interactive in the game, they just decided, whatever. Again, this was published by THQ, and I believe it was developed by Blue Chameleon. So, anyway, that's the Polar Express 2004. Take care, have a pleasant holiday, and a good night.